So here's video of the bus that I missed that I'm passing on the way to school. I arrived at the depot at 9:02. I'm pissed.
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Today, I want to get into why Oklahoma seems to have a problem with defense everywhere we look. 6 being so sad. On Twitter again, Abdul Adams deciding to leave for Syracuse, and apparently Cale Gundy might be up for a job at Arizona. Also, I made a video about new OU assistant Shane Beamer. That's linked above my head. It's yesterday's video, so I'm not going to talk about it today. Trae Young going demigod and how that can't seem to save us. Also defense. This fascination with 48, and my top 3 remaining targets for this 2018 signing class that I think OU has an opportunity to go get. If you're new to my channel, if this is your first time here, consider hitting that like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. So Trae Young can score 48 points in one basketball game, which is 1 point less than Wake Forest scored in the entire basketball game against Virginia on Sunday, and still can't win Big 12 Player of the Week. What are you doing, Big 12 Conference? Miss me with that. So Abdul Adams transferring makes all the sense in the world. We'd heard that he wanted to leave. We heard that he'd been putting out feelers to ACC schools. Now he's announced that he's going to Syracuse, where he'll sit out a year before being able to play again. And I think that this works on all sides. First, Abdul Adams is from the area. He's from Landover, Maryland. At the beginning of the season, he looked to be our best running back. And you know what? If you looked at his numbers, he has an argument. He had 59 carries for 542 yards. He averaged 9.2 yards per carry. But that fumble that he had in Bedlam looks like it cost him more carries down the road. Against Texas Tech, Abdul Adams had 10 carries for 95 yards. OU played 6 more games after that game. Abdul Adams had 14 carries total, 8 of which came in the West Virginia game, and he didn't carry the ball at all in the postseason. That means the Big 12 championship game and the Rose Bowl, Abdul Adams watched all of it from the sideline. Had 0 touches. To say nothing of Rodney Anderson emerging late in the year as OU's #1 starting running back. That job is his until he loses it. And it seems like Trey Sermon is fine coming off the bench and being the closer. Plus, with Kennedy Brooks and possibly Tavion Thomas coming in next year, we're going to be crowded with running backs. And that's the same that it is every year at OU. This is a frequent problem that we have. It's a good problem to have. Just not if you're Abdul Adams or the kid that ends up transferring away. And it's almost like clockwork that you're going to lose a running back in the offseason every year. It just seems to happen at OU because we're a running back university. Matter of fact, I remember when Samaje Perine was at a Rivals Camp Series event and I asked him point blank, why did he pick Oklahoma over a place like Alabama? And he said Oklahoma had the fewest amount of running backs. He wanted to play, and it's very hard to play when there's like 6 running backs in the stable. Not everybody's going to get touches. So I hope the kid goes to Syracuse where he can get some shine, to say nothing of Syracuse being the same team that beat Clemson. Yeah, that Clemson. Brent Venables is Clemson. So good luck to you, Abdul. Thanks for sticking it out as long as you thought you could and making the decision that's best for you. Speaking of decisions that are best for you, Cale Gundy is in the running apparently for a job at Arizona. Cale Gundy is the longest serving member of the football staff proper at 19 years, man. But we all know that Gundy's never been a coordinator and he's always been a really great recruiter, and I kind of nicknamed him Coach, what position am I coaching this year? It seemed to coach almost every position on the offense. And as the inside receivers coach in an air raid offense, we all know that that's the guy second to the offensive coordinator. It became clear that Cale Gundy wasn't necessarily going to be that guy because Bill Bedenbaugh has that co-offensive coordinator title. Now that said, you're not made the inside receivers coach unless someone thinks that you could be a pretty good play caller later down the line. And I think that's true of Cale Gundy. And I don't think he's going to go to Arizona because it looks like Noel Mazzoni? We'll go with Mazzone. Is going to be named his offensive coordinator. Was also Sumlin's offensive coordinator at Texas A&M for the last 2 seasons, so that just makes sense. So I don't think that Cale Gundy's going to leave Oklahoma, a place where his kids are, where he's raised his family, where he went to school, where his brother's close by, unless he's going to get the opportunity to call plays somewhere and be an offensive coordinator. Alright, so Bedlam, right? Everybody was psyched for Bedlam, and then we weren't psyched for Bedlam. Why weren't we psyched for Bedlam?
Because we got another slow start.
I'm really getting tired of these slow starts by our Sooners, man. We're a scoring basketball team. That's what we do best. We get buckets. And we got the gettingest, bucketest player in all of college basketball. And when he decided to turn it up in the second half, it looked like we were going to turn that frown upside down and go get a W in Stillwater, do the back-to-back. We all know that didn't happen. We lost this game in overtime. Game should have never gone to overtime. All right? We should have won that game. We should have won that game in regulation. That's just a fact. Second thing is we had an opportunity to win it in overtime. You got to make those shots. You got to hit those second chance opportunities. Trae Young is great. Trae Young is the best player in all of college basketball. But if they're going to triple team him, Your teammates gotta be able to hit shots. That's not on Trae Young. Also, one more fact about the Bedlam basketball game. The Oklahoma State football team still played in the Camping World Bowl. Because I know there's some Poke fans that are gonna try to get in our comments and talk noise. And we'll circle back to Oklahoma State here in a second, but what is it with this 48, right? Trae Young makes history again, scores 48 points in the Bedlam game going into overtime. And this 48 seems to be stuck with us. Like we lose games that we should win. Like we lost the Rose Bowl. We scored 48 in that game. Rodney Anderson was an absolute monster in that game. Lost that game. Trae Young was an absolute monster in Bedlam. Lost that game. Seriously, it feels like we're just stuck with 48. I mean, life is just better when you include Alaska and Hawaii. I would really like us to get past that. Now, as for the Trae Young narrative, check this out. He was 13 of 31 for 46 points and 8 of 16 from the 3-point line, which is ridiculous, right? 50% from 3. But he finished the game 1 of 8 and over 4 from 3-point land. So people want to talk about Trae Young lost that game. I'm sorry, when you put up 48 points in a college basketball game, you ain't lose a doggone thing, fam. We should have mollywopped Oklahoma State. Now they feeling all good and Brody and stuff because they got a W. Congratulations on not winning another Bedlam football game. Speaking of Oklahoma State, surely y'all saw this tweet that 60 Savage retweeted where Mason Rudolph told Jim Rome he's the best quarterback in the draft. Now, first of all, we'll take that up in a second. But Baker Mayfield retweeted this from the SB Nation Oklahoma State website. I love that. That's awesome because the chip stays there. It doesn't matter that he won the Heisman, that he's going to play in the Senior Bowl. It doesn't matter that he's beat Mason Rudolph in every Bedlam rivalry game. He's still chippy about Mason Rudolph even claiming to be on the same level as 60 Savage. He will always be my favorite OU quarterback. I don't see another person supplanting him on that scale because he plays the game like I would play the game, which is chippy, which is hard, which is all out, which is with your heart. And y'all know I like some heart. Speaking of which, somehow we're still having to have a conversation about how Baker Mayfield is going to get drafted. Like people are talking about he's going to drop to Miami because he talked about how we like to play with Kenny Stills. I don't particularly think he cares where he goes. We care greatly. There's lots of OU fans who are Broncos fans. Some of them are Dolphins fans. Some of the Cowboys fans like me. But I think that he wouldn't mind going to the Browns. Browns, if you draft Baker Mayfield, we're rioting. I'm just telling you. Like, we're going to show up at the door and we're going to demand that you trade him right away because the Browns are a terrible organization. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing him go to New York. That'd be fun. You know, get the bake to chef relationship going again. But I think that's the point, is that there are all these other quarterbacks that all the analysts, in air quotes, are telling me that are better than Baker Mayfield. And they want to include Sam Darnold on this list, which is ridiculous because Sam Darnold's thrown more picks than Steven Adams. I mean, the man is a turnover machine. And Josh Rosen doesn't look like he really wants to play football. He just happens to be good at it. Which, you know, get it how you live. If you make money doing that, go on, make some money, son. But if you want passion and you want accuracy, you know, he is the most accurate, most efficient quarterback in college football history. Let's not forget that. All we want to talk about is crotch grabs, but we want to forget about how he can just drop
dimes.
You ought to draft Baker Mayfield. And it seems like the Denver Broncos are telegraphing that they want to draft Baker Mayfield. Now, who knows, because the draft is like 2 months away. But he hired an agent that's based in Boulder, Colorado, with connections to the Denver Broncos. And the Denver Broncos have said out loud they want to coach him in the Senior Bowl. I don't know what you're saying unless you just want to get a closer look and say, hey, unless we see any red flags, we want to go get this guy. And Lord knows that the Denver Broncos have a terrible quarterback situation. They thought Paxton Lynch was going to be the guy. He got hurt, then he proved he wasn't the guy. Trevor Siemian looked like he was going to be able to win the job and keep the job, but he's a turnover machine. He's like an older Sam Darnold. And then all of a sudden we got this guy, Josh Allen from Wyoming, who ain't played nobody, but is built like Ryan Tannehill. And we all know how good a quarterback Ryan Tannehill is. And it's like this, you know, it's you take him or leave him. Would you take him in the first round? Absolutely not. So I'm saying, somebody is going to get lucky with Baker Mayfield. I just hope that it's a good situation that Baker's going to. And New York seems like a good situation. Arizona Cardinals seem like a good situation. Miami Dolphins, not so much. The Miami Dolphins don't seem like they know if they're coming or going, man. Denver Broncos, they've at least proven that they can win a Super Bowl in this decade. How many Super Bowl championships the Miami Dolphins have, fam? Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, so now for the 3 remaining targets that I would like OU to try to go get. And the first one is Tainio Hopper. Tainio Hopper is a 4-star recruit out of the state of Georgia. He's rated the 42nd best player in the state and the 17th best player overall at his position, which is tight end H-back, which is the Dimitri Flowers role. And it seems like they both have a mutual interest. He's talked to OU, OU's talked to him. He knows how much the H-back gets used in the system. Plays slot, plays tight end, plays fullback. And we don't know what we're going to have at H-back next year. Maybe it'll be Ricky DeBerry, but, you know, I already made that video. So I would like to go sew up a dyed-in-the-wool H-back, a guy that can play all those positions, that multi-back position. That would be nice. So that's number 1 on the list. Number 2 on the list would be offensive lineman Tank Jenkins. Now, you've heard me talk about Tank Jenkins before. He's a 6'4", 325-pound beast of an offensive lineman who's in Auburn territory. He's in that part of Alabama. And it looks like if anybody stole him away, it would be Auburn. Now, I'm still kind of waiting on Alabama to just drop him an offer and say, come get him. Because they're the only major team worth looking at that hasn't offered this kid. But he came down for his visit after it seemed to take forever to get him down here. Seemed to have a good time. Took some pictures. Brought his mama. Had good things to say. But we haven't heard from him since. Signing day is coming up, so a commit could be coming soon. We don't know. I don't know. I just know that everything that I have read points to us being able to get Tank Jenkins, and I would like to have another offensive lineman in this queue that Bill Bedenbaugh is building up. Like, all of a sudden, we're reloading at offensive line. It used to be a position where we didn't know what we had every year, and we were always really uptight when some of our best offensive linemen went to the NFL because, man, who thought that Derek Forniak was going to be able to play? I didn't. I would like to know that some offensive linemen who are proven, who we already know can play, want to come to OU. And the third recruit I would like to see OU get a commitment from, signed to the 2018 class, and have here for summer workouts is Moro Ojomo. Moro Ojomo is a 6'3", 265-pound defensive tackle. Y'all know how much we need defensive tackles. There's only one defensive tackle in this class. One. And that's Jordan Kelly from just down the road at Tulsa Union. 6'4", 290. Has all the physical traits that you want in a defensive tackle. Still needs some work. Ojomo, though, is a man. And the other thing that's scary about Ojomo is he's just 16 years old, man. And as a 16-year-old senior, that seems kind of odd. How did he get to be a senior when he's just 16? Well, that's because he started his schooling outside of the country. He started in Nigeria, where you can start school when you're 3. Most of us are still being lofted onto the changing table when we're 3. I know, you're going to be the one person that tells me that you were pottying when you were 1.5. Okay, whatever. You get the point, though. Most of y'all weren't graduating high school when you were 16 years old. You were barely able to get your driver's license. And even then, you probably weren't trusted with the car. So Ojomo might not turn 17 before he steps foot on the campus to play football. Which again means he's still growing. He's still going to mature. He has time. That also screams red shirt to me. But if he can play, he can play. I know that they're going to use him if he can play. And it seems like the kid from Katy, Texas has all the good. So by all means, sew that man up. Put him in the committed column. Sign him. And then make me feel a little bit better about defensive tackle. I left Leon O'Neal Jr. out because I restricted it to 3. Obviously, he would be number 4. But to be fair, we're pretty good at safety. Like, I like when we have a defensive back coming back for the first time in a very long time. So while I would love to have Leon O'Neal Jr., I'm not going to be hurt if we don't. I would be more hurt if we didn't get the H-back, if we didn't get the offensive lineman, if we didn't get the defensive tackle. Because when OU loses football games, we seem to lose them in the trenches. In the meantime, let's work out whatever it is that we have going on with this word defense. And let's make a run in the NCAA tournament, fellas. Alright, that's it for me. If you like the videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow. Deuces. We're moving. Oh, goodness. Oh, man. Check that out. Oh, this, oh, stairs. Oh, stairs. Oh, stairs. Oh,